in the circle, and Florida at the plate to begin the top of the first. Falby steps in, the tall lefty, and we are underway as Marin delivers strike one. Ball driven foul left side, 0-2 quickly in the hole is the Gators leadoff hitter Falby. And this is a Gators offense, and we saw it last night. They didn't get the win, but their offense was spectacular, and they are pound for pound probably the best offensive lineup in America this year.
Oh, no doubt. You look at their numbers, they are a threat 1 through 9, and especially at the top of the lineup with Kendra Falby, the junior, a lot of experience. She sets the tone, hitting in front of the All-American Skylar Wallace. She gets this game going for Florida, but right now finding herself behind 1-2. Josie Marin in the circle doing a nice job setting the tone herself in the circle and getting ahead.
Ball scorched over to short, scooped up and thrown across by Edwards in time to get the out. One away in the top of the first.
You know, if there's one thing for Mississippi State that you want to see them clean up a little bit is their defense. And with Josie Marin in the circle, the defense is going to have to be on because she keeps the ball down with a drop ball, feeds her defense a lot of plays. So you want to see the defense playing well behind her today.
And there's the sophomore right-hander out of Grimes, Iowa. Had a really good freshman season and has so far avoided the sophomore slump. Comes in with really strong numbers in her second year in Starkville.
Yeah, she's been a great number 2 to Aspen Wesley, who we saw yesterday. You know, to have a great ace and then have almost like a 1B for this staff. She's done a great job stepping in as a sophomore.
Swing and a miss as the defending SEC Player of the Year, Skylar Wallace, steps up for the first time this afternoon, and quickly she, like Falby, is in the 0-2 hole.
Yeah, you can see her scout right there. Filthy drop ball. She does have a changeup, which she's going to need to use to keep these hitters honest.
That ball just missed down and in, and the count of ball and 2 strikes on Skylar Wallace, who is followed in the lineup today by Otis. And then we'll also see Erickson this half inning if anyone can reach. No one on, 1 gone. Ball game is just underway. And the ball gets away from Marin and plunks Wallace, and she will be given a free first base as the Gators have their first runner on in the ball game.
We saw that a couple of times yesterday with Skylar Wallace at the plate. You never want to let their best player beat you, and they really pitched around Skylar Wallace. She wore a couple pitches last night. Exact same thing happened at the top of the first, and she got on base, stole second base, and the Florida was able to get an early lead.
That is the 12th time this year that Wallace has been hit by a pitch. So 1 on and 1 gone as Otis, the first right-handed bat in the lineup today, steps in. Otis followed by Erickson. Then you have Walsh, Kistler, Goodard. That ball off the short hop, and Edwards is able to glove it and get the ball across in time. So Edwards, a couple of nice plays, and there are 2 gone in the top of the first.
That was a great play at short by Kylie Edwards. That ball, if she doesn't charge it as hard as she does and gets it on that short hop, she's going to get eaten up with the middle hop. Corby Otis, a lot of speed down the base path too, so nice play by Edwards for the second out.
And now Florida's left-handed hitting catcher, Jocelyn Erickson, steps up to face Marin. Runner on in scoring position. Florida looking for a 2-out base hit. Phoenix, Arizona sophomore Erickson hitting a robust .432 with 43 runs driven in this year. Catches the outside corner for a strike, and the count evens up.
Now with a superstar like Skylar Wallace on your team, who's standing on second base right now, Corby Otis and Jocelyn Erickson have such a big job to do behind her because people are going to pitch around Skylar Wallace, and to hit behind her to protect her, you have a lot of chances at some RBIs.
Ground ball, diving stop. Florida first in time, 4-3 on the putout. Mississippi State flashes the glove in the top of the first, and they will get out of the inning.
Just like we saw with Josie Marin for Mississippi State, she's going to rely on her defense to make plays behind her.
She took the loss in the ball game last night She surrendered the final 3 hits and the last 2 runs. And, of course, the big hit there was the Cook 2-run home run that came off of Brown. So I'm always curious, as a pitcher, how do you shake that off? You know, I mean, she only faced, what, 6 batters last night. But she suffers the loss. The game-winning hit comes off of her. And then less than 24 hours later, you're asked to go back out there and get the start the next day. How do you flush that mentally?
Yeah, and don't forget she's just a freshman, right?
Yes,
That's
that
a
too.
lot for a freshman who hasn't faced a lot of adversity this year. So seeing how she responds today is something that I'm really looking forward to because she hasn't faced that adversity.
Sacco hits one over to short, though across is there in time. 1 up, 1 down as Sierra Sacco grounds out. And that's how the home half of the first begins for Mississippi State. We mentioned at the beginning of the ball game, especially in the top half of the first, how good Florida is offensively. A strong case can be made that the next best offensive team in the SEC at this point in the season are the Bulldogs.
I think if you watched the game last night and all the runs and hits they put up, I think they made a good case for that. So I think these pitchers, it's not a good day to be a pitcher, or it wasn't a good day to be a pitcher yesterday. So let's see if the pitchers, what kind of adjustments they make today. I'm sure they all went back and watched film, saw the hits and what the hitters were doing. So I'm interested to see that chess match in the circle from both sides.
Nadia Barbary, the sophomore right-handed hitting third baseman for MSU, is at the plate to face Brown. 1-2 the count on Barbary. Barbary hitting .361 on base percentage of over .450.
She's been phenomenal in that 2-hole. Just a sophomore. We talked about no sophomore slump for Josie Mayer, not for Nadia Barbary either. She's been a great player in that 2-hole for this team. She can really do it all.
High fly ball, deep, could be caught at the wall. It's off the glove of Falby. Stopping at second, now trying to go to third and sliding in safely as the throw gets cut off is Barbary. A huge extra base hit, and the Bulldogs are in business in the first inning.
Nadia Barbary gets a pitch actually on the outer half of the plate, but stays through it far enough. Falby tries to rob one, just out of reach of her glove, bounces off the wall, and Barbary showing off some speed going into third base.
I'll tell you what, in real time, I thought it was off the glove of Falby. That ball instead was about an inch away from being a home run.
You know, off the bat, I thought it had a really good chance of getting out of here, but good effort in center field, but it ends up being a one-out triple, and you see here, I think they learned their lesson last night against Madison Kennedy, one of the hottest hitters in the country.
And here she is, the senior from Montgomery, and she will be put on at first base. One of the pleasant surprises in the SEC this year has been the development from her junior year to her senior year of Madison Kennedy. I mean, she's been a starter since day one when she got here, but I think now she's finally healthy.
That's huge.
You know, she took some time off, I think from the game during the off season to recover from a surgery. She's come back as a different player here in 2024.
Sometimes it takes just taking that step back and seeing the game from a different perspective. You know, when you're caught up in it, practicing every day, it's all about you. But when you step back and see how the game works, it can give you a different perspective. And in the box, it's all about confidence, right? She knows how to swing. Her swing hasn't changed. I think a lot of it's in between the ears and having that break.
Here's the hero offensively from last night, Paige Cook. Well, one of many offensive heroes, but she got the hit that won the ball game. This time, though, she'll hit one right back to Brown. Did a good job, Brown did, of looking back the runner, Barbary, at third, and then threw to first in time to get the out. 2 gone with 2 on. And it's up to Jessie Blaine to keep the inning alive now for State. Barbary at third, Kennedy at second. And case you're scoring at home, they have, for the moment, given Barbary credit for a double.
Okay.
And then charging an error in the outfield. I believe on the left fielder, Otis could not get that ball picked up cleanly after it hit the top of the wall. So a double and an error. Either way, Barbary at third, Kennedy at second, and a 2-0 count to Blaine. Make it 3-0 now on Blaine with the freshman Wesolowski in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, really trying to go off after the inside part of the plate is Brown, just not getting the call.
A 4-pitch walk, second walk issued this inning for Brown. The first one was intentional. That one, I don't know, is that one of those intentional walks? I couldn't tell right there. With two outs.
Right, and going on the inner half of the plate. No, I think she's trying to establish the strike zone, especially on that inner half right now.
Bases are loaded for Mississippi State. They're trying to put some pressure early on the freshman Brown and the Gators here in the first and pick up right where they left off last night. Got to get 2-out quality at bat, though, to keep the inning alive. That ball will get right past the diving Walsh. 1 run is in, throw home, not in time. 2-run score, and the Dogs are on the board first. 2-0 in the first. Mississippi State.
You know, sometimes it's not necessarily how hard you hit it, it's if you hit it where they ain't. And right here, Wesolowski gets jammed on this pitch, and if anybody's going to have a shot to catch it, is Skylar Wallace at second base. But you see Bobby come up and pump to home plate, and if she lets that ball go on the first instinct to go home, I don't think Mississippi State scores 2, but they take advantage of some hesitation and get on the board first.
The Bulldogs riding that momentum wave from the end of game 1. They're on the board here in their first at-bat to begin game 2. And how about the freshman Wesolowski coming through in the clutch? Kylie Edwards, the Bulldogs shortstop, now at the plate. The count is 1-1 to Edwards, batting .266 now in the season. Like Wesolowski, a true freshman, the Bulldogs use that trio of freshmen in Wesolowski, Edwards, and Hawkins. Boom, 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 6, 7, 8 in the lineup. And Edwards is right there in the middle. 4 home runs, 15 runs driven in this year for the right-hander. And right now, offensively, Mississippi State, they had, going back now 2 weeks ago, they had that big Sunday game against Texas A&M. They then parlayed that into a weekend in Fayetteville as that ball goes right back to Brown. And I'll finish that thought. Next half inning, Brown gets out of it, but State, though, scores 2. Florida Gators. Leading things off for Florida is the third baseman, Reagan Walsh. And Marin will start her off with a changeup that drops in there for a strike. Five, 6, and 7. Walsh, Kistler, and Goddard due up for the Gators. That ball will be dribbled foul over towards third base for strike 2.
Once again, Josie Marin in the circle working ahead of these Florida hitters, and it's so important to do it. You hear it all the time, but with the numbers this team puts up, you can't work from behind and find any success.
That ball is blistered foul again as Walsh got out in front of the 0-2 breaking ball, so we'll do it again. And that's where Marin, in theory, could have some success today. She has been, for the most part this year, good at getting in front of the hitters.
Yeah, she fills the zone. She is not afraid to attack the zone, and then has that drop ball that she can just spike in the dirt when she gets ahead and try and get hitters to chase.
The 0-2, look at there, right on cue. Swing and a miss, throw down in time. And that'll be a strikeout for Marin. 1 gone, top of the second.
Yeah, this pitch right here, it shows the maturity of just a sophomore. Knowing she's ahead in the count, 2 hard foul balls before this pitch. She throws it, bounces on the plate, gets a big first out, strikeout.
And it brings up another Florida left-handed bat as Katie Kistler steps in, the right fielder. She takes ball one. Alongside Brittany McKinney, I'm Anthony Craven. Great to have you along for the ride for an earlier than usual start time for a Friday, but with it being Good Friday, a lot of folks with a day off today, so we're glad to get on the air a little earlier than usual. Feels like Saturday.
It does, but the weather this time of day right now, it's perfect. We couldn't ask for not a cloud in the sky, perfect temperature, slight breeze. I mean, this is exactly what you want.
And a good crowd is gathered here at News Park. Second SEC series for the Bulldogs at home this year. 2 weeks ago, they played at Texas A&M, and they dropped 2 out of 3, but that final game against A&M where they took on Kennedy head-to-head and beat her. Had success against her, just straight up beat her. And the offense has seemingly picked up some momentum from that, and they have been really good in every game since then.
Yeah, I think the confidence that they had to come out and take one in that series against a very good pitcher in Kennedy. Yeah. I mean, if they can hit her, you got to feel like you can hit just about anybody else.
Ball bounced out to Edwards, thrown across in time, 6-3, 2 gone in the top of the second, as Kistler is retired. The senior right-hander, Bailey Goddard, will step in for the first time today to face Marin. Beautiful pitch.
Really showing that changeup a lot early in this game. First time through a lineup, we've seen it quite a few times to each hitter, and sometimes pitchers want to save that for later in the game to have something to pull out of their back pocket. But right now, off the top, Josie's showing everything she's got.
Ground ball foul over there towards third. How often as a catcher did you call for a first pitch changeup or breaking ball this early in the ball game?
It really depends on the hitter, and they saw Josie for just three hitters last night, right? So not a big test, but these are free swingers. So against a team like this, I would call it first pitch. I love back-to-back changeups. Having a changeup really sets you above if you're a pitcher against a big team, because hitting's all timing. If you're on time, I don't care what your swing looks like. If you're on time, you're going to do some damage, and being able to keep these hitters off balance is going to be big.
No one on and 2 gone with a 1-2 count to Goddard, with Brown scheduled to be in the on-deck circle. If Goddard can keep the inning alive, she'll pick up the bat, as Goddard will stay alive for the moment and foul one off to the left.
She got all of it. It was an incredible shot, an incredible momentum shift you would have thought for Florida. So we know she has some power.
And coming into the ball game today, was not quite sure pregame if she would start or not. Thankfully, she's good to go. The 2-2 from Marin. Swing and a miss. Marin gets her second strikeout of the inning, and she retires a 3-hour, 13-12 ball game last night. That did not go extra innings.
Right.
All right, 13-12 in 6.5 innings of activity last night, and they are right back at it to entertain us here for game 2 today, as Salyn Hawkins, the Bulldog, a freshman second baseman, leads things off for Mississippi State. Phoenix, Arizona native, 5'4" middle infielder, batting 8th in the lineup. And that's where she has sort of settled into this lineup, the bottom third, but a really productive bottom third of the order hitter for MSU.
Yeah, you said just 5'4". She doesn't have a big frame of a big hitter, but we saw a nice home run from her last night. And she just has a way of finding holes in the defense. She puts a good swing on the ball. She has fast hands and just exudes confidence.
Pops one out of play over towards the Florida dugout, first base side. We'll do it again. Count remains full, 3-2 on Hawkins, who did in fact have her third homer of her college career in game 1 last night. should stay on the infield and be caught, and it will be by Walsh for out number 1.
And we've seen it a couple times already this game, Mississippi State getting jammed on that inside pitch. Ava Brown really likes to work the ball up and in under the hands of righties and not let them get extended. That's why she's really working to find that inner half of the strike zone.
The senior outfielder St. Clair steps in, swings at the first pitch, and fouls it back for strike 1. St. Clair, the hitter who has been a slapper throughout much of her career, has become, I don't know, dare I say it, kind of a power slapper a little bit this year. Hard to say power and St. Clair in the same sentence, but she has definitely added a little bit of that to her game here in 2024.
Yeah, she has. Not there, though. That
No.
time, Ava Brown gets the best of her, which she's not alone in that. We talked about at the top how good Ava Brown is, and got into some trouble last night, is really showing up again right now in the second inning. That pitch is filthy. That's a backdoor curveball starting off the plate, then breaking back towards the corner way ahead. St. Clair's got to go after it, and that's a nice setup.
Back now to the top of the Bulldog order as Sacco steps in. She's 0 for 1 today, grounded out to short to Wallace out there her first time up. So now Bulldog hitters seeing Brown for the second time in this ball game, and for some of them, their third time on the weekend. And there you see the Sacco numbers on the season. Transfer from Louisiana Tech, leads the team at the moment with that on-base percentage over 500.
Yeah, what I like about her as a leadoff is she also has 28 walks on the season, which is going to help that on-base percentage for sure. But as a leadoff, your job is to get on base, and she does a very nice job of that any way she can.
Takes that ball downstairs. Count is going to be 3-1 now. Hitters count on Sacco with Barbary in the on-deck circle. If Sacco can keep the inning alive. No one on, 2 gone. That ball's high. The 2-out walk is issued. It's still early, but walks a bit of an issue, surprisingly, for Brown here in the first couple of innings.
Yeah, I think she loves throwing to her arm side of the plate, and I think she's still trying to find that strike zone from the umpire, Aaron Gordon, behind the plate, squeezing her a little bit on the righties. And as a freshman, you know, you got to learn how to adjust to those strike zones.
That ball comes right on the inside corner and gets called for strike 1 as Barbary steps in. And Brown, it should be noted, does not have the greatest strikeout to walk ratio anyway, not part of her game, really. She is a pitch to contact kind of hitter, at least so far she has been in her freshman season.
Right, and she pitches to contact, but not hard contact.
Right.
The way she works the zone on her arm side, like we've been talking about, is she gets so many jam shots. And it's really hard to barrel her ball up because it's breaking in on your hands to a righty. And if you get your barrel out in front of it, you're just going to pull it foul. So she's got a nice mix of pitches.
High fly ball, shallow and right, hard charging is Kistler. She gets there and makes the grab to end the inning as Sacco is left on at first. Dogs on top by 2. Showdown in the SEC. State trying to go ahead and lock up the series. Florida trying to force a rubber game tomorrow afternoon as the freshman Ava Brown, we mentioned at the open, she will, in most games that she pitches, also hit, and she is doing that again today. Just so talented. What a get for Coach Walton and the Florida staff.
Yeah, I'd love a two-way pitcher. We don't see it as much as we used to in the game, but a two-way pitcher just tells me you're an athlete, you're a competitor, and be able to, help yourself out in the box is something special. And all the hitting pitchers that I know, they could really do some damage in the box because they don't overcomplicate swinging. They're worried about pitching, and they get in the box and they just do their thing.
Timeout called. Actually, did we have an illegal pitch called?
That would be my assumption.
I looked down for a second, and yeah, the count shows 1 and 2, so it must have been illegal pitch. Or the count's 2 and 1.
Right. Let's
Yeah,
take a
instead
look.
of 1 and 2.
I don't see anything there. It could have been pre-pitch, not pausing when she got her signal.
Whatever it was called quickly. A little two-hopper out to Barbary. High throw, but a good stretch at first by Kennedy, and out number 1 is recorded. What a good job by Marin there to shake off the illegal pitch call and come back at the easy ground ball out.
Yeah, that just tells me she's feeling it in the circle. Just, all right, get back over there, Blue. Let me just get to this next pitch. No big deal, and gets her 6th ground ball of the game.
So no one on and one gone as Mia Williams, the Florida second baseman, steps in, hitting 9th in the order as Marin drops one in for strike 1 against the freshman. A native of the state of Florida, Windermere, Florida is her hometown. And it's been a little bit of a struggle for her in conference play as a true freshman, trying to get settled in here offensively at this level.
Yeah, it's a strong conference, and the game is so much faster at this level, and then even more so in the SEC. So it's going to take her some time, but Coach Walton's having her in the starting lineup shows me that he's got a lot of confidence in her.
The ceiling is very high as she'll take a big-time cut. Just could not catch up to that ball from Marin, and that'll be a strikeout, and there are 2 gone.
Again, Josie Marin working ahead in the count and then can get this pitch. You just see it fall off the table. That is dirty. When Marin's on, she's going to get a ton of swing and misses. That's a pretty pitch. That is a dramatic drop ball.
Freshman or not, that would have been difficult for anybody
right.
to make contact on. So now we're back up to the top of the order in Falby, trying to button her way on, but it's foul for strike 1.
Now, Florida not having much success one time through the lineup, and Falby coming out first pitch trying to get a bunt down. Now this is the kind of adjustments we're going to try and see second time through. We're going to try to play a little more small ball. They've got to find ways to get runners on base.
Because they can run the bases well.
They sure can.
Once they get on. That's been the challenge so far against Marin today. That ball is foul straight back for strike 2. Falby grounded out her first time up. 0 for 1 today, but still batting over .430 on the season. One of 4 Florida hitters hitting over .400 so far this year. Not a bad idea. Ball just missed a little high and outside. Crowd doesn't like it, but the count goes to 1 and 2.
That's a great pitch because she's been living down in the zone with that drop ball here, changing the eye level of Falby in the box, winning her head, just showing her that she just can't live with her eyes down.
That ball hit hard right to Hawkins, a worm burner. And
pitcher's really commanding the zone, working ahead. But now Ava Brown's got to deal with Madison Kennedy leading off an inning.
Kennedy and her 13 home runs on the season and her 44 runs driven in. Just having herself a monster season. .420 batting average. Is getting on base over 50% of the time.
She's and now it's 20 on base streak for Madison Kennedy. After the walk in her first at bat, she's just, there is no quit in her. There's no drop off. It's when she started getting hot, it's like, all right, this is going to be a streak. It wasn't a streak at all. She is still going. And I think she's putting up some of the best numbers in the nation. And I mean, midway through the season, she's got to be up there for National Player of the Year conversation.
Huge pitch right there. Brown with some high heat. Got a rare strikeout against Kennedy for out number 1.
Ava Brown climbing the ladder here. She loves that strikeout, and I love that reaction from the freshman in the circle. That is one of the best hitters in the SEC, and you went right at her. Her big strikeout to start off the inning.
It now brings up Cook. She hits the first pitch. Shallow in right. Nice job there. Kistler comes running in, sliding, makes the grab, and there are 2 gone in the home half of the 3rd.
Katie Kistler had to go a long ways for that ball, respecting the power of Paige Cook. We saw her home run last night. Look at her, not even on the screen to begin with, fighting the sun. Nice little sliding catch. Defense looking good on both sides.
Yeah, covered a bunch of ground there No one on and 2 gone for the catcher, Jesse Blaine. Blaine catching today with Wesolowski starting at DP for head coach Samantha Ricketts. Blaine drew a walk her first time up. And there you see her numbers on the year. Really good numbers across the board. Can hit for average and power, and has been a very nice addition to this Bulldog roster, transferring in from Auburn.
Yeah, real strong hitter. But right there, Skylar Wallace actually called that time and went into the circle to talk to Ava Brown, showing her leadership. You know, she saw something that she needed to talk to her freshman pitcher about, went in there and took her aside, took a minute.
That ball is hit right up the middle. Blaine got her barrel around perfectly on that one, and that'll be a single for Mississippi State.
You know, I think that's the first hard hit we've seen since the first inning with Nadia Barbary hit the one off the wall. Jesse Blaine getting her barrel on it, back up the middle. We saw yesterday Mississippi State can score with 2 outs. They love a good 2-out rally. Let's see if they're able to get anything going here, because it looks like Ava Brown's really settling in.
It does. Wesolowski has driven in the only runs today. Here she is again, pop up, shallow, calling off. William is Falby. Good job there by the center fielder. And that'll get the Gators out of the inning. State, though, still on top. Afternoon, Wallace, Otis, Erickson, 2, 3, and 4. A really difficult section of the Florida lineup here in the 4th inning to face Josie Marin.
Yeah, Mississippi State has done a good job of pitching around Skylar Wallace in these first 2 games, but now as a leadoff, you never want to get that leadoff runner on and then have Corby Otis come up behind her and Jocelyn Erickson with no outs. But now with Josie Marin falling behind 2-0, you still don't want to give her anything good to hit.
I mean, you have to do this, right?
No, I think so. You can't let their best player beat you. At the end of the day, you're going to be okay with that, even if you don't walk away with the win, as long as it's not done by their best player.
Which is why it was so important for Marin to get the outs against the bottom 3 in the order last inning.
Exactly.
It's a 3-0 count. We would imagine we wouldn't see anything particularly right in the heart of the zone, and as expected, the walk is issued, and Wallace is back on base for the 2nd time today.
Somebody with her numbers and her caliber of hitting, Skylar Wallace, showing great patience. You know how good you can be if you're able to swing the bat, and she's not chasing out of the zone. She's taking her walks or hit by pitches and doing what she can for her team when she gets on base. Stealing bases yesterday. She's 12 for 12 on the season. So, sometimes a walk is equal to a double with her speed on first.
The tying run is now at the plate with no one out for Florida as Corby Otis steps in. Otis 0 for 1 today, but batting .432 on the season is the junior. That ball just misses downstairs, ball 1. Four home runs, 28 runs driven in. But look at that on-base percentage. That is...
That's not a typo.
No, that's not her slugging percentage. That's her on-base percentage.
More than half the time getting on base. And that's up and down the Gator lineup, too. Their offense, they've been a little bit quiet so far this game, but that potential, you can just feel it coming.
Marin trying to find the strike zone for the first time this half inning. She has not found it yet. And the count is 3-0. With Otis at the plate and Erickson in the on-deck circle, followed by Walsh, and then Kistler and Goddard. Boy, it's hard to catch your breath when you're pitching against this lineup.
Yeah, you can't take a pitch off. You've got to stay focused, zeroed in on every single pitch, because if you make a mistake against any one of these hitters, they can make you pay. And Josie Marin was very efficient first time through the lineup, having some trouble here finding the zone, trying to be a little careful.
There's strike 2. Well, Otis tried to sell it It was borderline. Try to sell it as ball 4, but it was in there for a strike. Now the count's full. A big moment here in the middle innings of this one right here. Runner takes off, throw down, will not be in time. Doesn't matter, it was ball 4 anyway, so that ball missed upstairs. Back-to-back walks, and Florida has the tying runs on, no one out, and timeout is called by Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think this is a good timeout right now because Josie Marin, you can't leave runners left on base.
Wow, high fly ball. Florida has taken the lead on one swing of the bat. Erickson sends one over the fence in right center field, and the Gators are on top 3-2. Well, they heard you. They didn't strand anybody on that opportunity.
It was just a matter of time for the Gators to get a break. This pitch right here to Jocelyn Erickson, you see the drop ball, but it did not have near enough break. Started high in the zone. First pitch swinging, and Erickson with one swing of the bat puts the Gators on top with no outs.
A couple of walks to begin the inning. Come back to bite Marin. That's the first hit of the game for Florida, and it's a 3-run home run. Erickson's sixth of the season, rather. And Florida on top 3-2. Brand new ball game now in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, they're making good adjustments. Second time through seeing Josie Marin. Patience, getting those 2 walks, and then the big hit. That's what you want to see as a coach. Find ways to get on base and let that heart of your lineup find a way to get a big hit, get some runs across.
Reagan Walsh at the plate for Florida. She struck out swinging her first time up against Marin. Bouncer, gonna be a tough play. Throw to first, nicely done by Barbary, and a good catch at first base by Kennedy. And that's out number 1.
Yeah, and that's an incredible play by Barbary at third base. When she starts, she is way behind the bag, so she has to come in hard, get that short hop, and make a throw on the run. It's a huge out to pick up your pitcher after giving up a 3-run home run, make a nice play on defense. Let's get settled back in on defense.
And it brings up now Katie Kistler. She takes strike 1. Kistler grounded out to Edwards at short her first time up. She's 0 for 1 today. The senior sees the batting average drop just a little bit, and once again hits one hard but right at Edwards. And she's now 0 for 2 on the afternoon.
She got a barrel on the ball, but that just shows that drop ball from Josie Marin is falling off right before it makes contact. And the defense for Mississippi State was a concern coming into the game, playing behind Marin. Are they going to be able to pick her up with the ground balls? So far, so good.
Yeah, both teams defensively having a good afternoon. The Bulldogs especially, no errors committed yet against this Florida offense that just puts so many balls into play. As Bailey Goddard steps up, she struck out her first time up, 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Now batting .364. That breaking ball is in there for a strike. Florida 1 hit, but it's a 3-run home run. And it has given them their first lead of the ball game. 3-2 here in the 4th. That ball's down and out, and the count is 1-2.
Everybody clap your hands.
The first inning where Marin has really been challenged. She issued back-to-back walks and then a home run, but has settled back in seemingly and has come back and has gotten the next 2 batters out, and now has a 2-2 count on Goddard.
Yeah, big response in the circle by Marin, just a sophomore, to be able to come back from the back-to-back walks, like you said, 3-run home run and get the next 2 batters. This would be a huge out for Mississippi State, but Florida really challenging her at the plate.
Got the strikeout. So Marin gets the strike warmed back and scored 7 runs in their last at-bat to shock Florida 13-12. In one of the wildest games we've seen in the SEC this season. Today's game has been just as entertaining, but a very normal softball game so far.
Oh, you said it. It's about to go crazy now.
That's right, I did it.
No, what I liked about both teams last night is they kept fighting back.
Hard hit ball. Kylie Edwards hits one to the gap. She's trying for 2. Throw in will not be in time. Double to lead off the inning. And just like that, speaking of fighting back,
right.
State loses their lead. Lead off double the very next half inning.
You said it, just like that. They wasted no time. Florida jumps ahead of them. Kylie Edwards comes up to bat, drills this ball into left center, uses her speed, gets into scoring position, no outs. Mississippi State is all about answering. That's what they did last night. They're going to try and do it here. The moment never felt too big for them, even when they were down big yesterday. You know, they just go out there and swing the bat and have fun.
It brings up the second baseman, Salyn Hawkins. This is that trio of freshmen, 6, 7, 8, Wasilowski, Edwards, and Hawkins. Edwards is on at second base. Hawkins now at the plate with no one out. That ball was high, and the count quickly is 2 balls and no strikes, and Brown now has to kind of shake off that base hit and settle back in and protect the lead. Hawkins pops it up, could be a play, should be a play, in foul territory. Shortstop Wallace goes out there and makes the grab. Big out right there for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, Brown answering back, going back to her bread and butter, that pitch in on the hands, gets a jam fly ball for an easy out by Skylar Wallace. But if you're Salyn Hawkins or even Coach Ricketts, Hawkins was ahead 2-0 in that at bat, and swings at something in on her hands with the runner on second base. Maybe more quality of a bat was needed there.
Would you like her to force the pitcher to work a little more?
Absolutely. I'm going to make her, until I get behind in the count or even in the count, I'm going to look for something on the outer half of the plate, hit behind my runner to at least move her 60 feet, if not score.
The Bulldogs will use a pinch hitter. It's Aquana Brownlee, the veteran power hitter out of Houston, Mississippi. The right-hander will step in, and she will swing in place of St. Clair in the number 9 spot in the order. And very quickly, she falls behind in the count, 0-2. So State just trying to get a little more pop in the bat. Up at the plate, opposite side goes Brownlee. That'll be an out at first base unassisted, but it does move Edwards over to third. And it brings up now the leadoff hitter in the lineup and one of the better hitters on State's team, Sierra Sacco.
Yeah, getting a leadoff double and not scoring could be hurtful for Mississippi State, just kind of demoralizing. So if they can get this run across, it'll be big for them to answer back. But Ava Brown, after that leadoff double, has gotten 2 jams, major jams by the Mississippi State hitters. So she's grooving right now.
And has thrown strike 1 to Sacco, who has been on base once today. That ball misses up and in. Count evens up. Sacco, a .352 hitter on the year. Has not been at the plate very often, though, in these situations. And by that, I mean runners on and scoring position, just 2 outs.
Yeah, and we saw Mississippi State last night. They were so good with runners on. They only left 3 runners on base and ended up scoring 13 runs. It tells you that they come up big with a big hit with runners on, trying to do it here.
Sacco fights that one off and fouls it off to stay alive. 1-2 the count. The Bulldogs are, in fact, looking for that quality at bat with runners on and 2 gone. Trailing for the first time today, 3-2. Ball's down and away. Good take by Sacco, and the count evens up.
It's a good take and a great pitch by Brown in this circle. 1-2 count. I mean, that's close. If you're a hitter, you're probably going to swing at that, but great location, but good discipline by Sacco in the box.
Sacco, a little excuse me swing, and it goes right to the first baseman, or right out to the first baseman.
From that, Marin's been great in this circle. Her drop ball's been good, defense been good behind her, but it's that one pitch we talked about. You can't make mistakes against Florida.
For the first time today, we see the first baseman, Avery Gales, pick up the bat for Florida. She's played the entire ball game at first base, but she is now hitting in the number 8 position, which was held by the starting pitcher, Brown. Gales, chopper out towards second, throw to first, done in time as Hawkins makes the play, 1 away.
And just so there's no confusion, just because she went in to hit for Brown does not mean Brown's
Correct.
coming out of the game. The DP flex, how they set up their lineup, fully expect Ava Brown to be back in the circle.
1 away as Gales is retired. Williams will step in now. That's Mia Williams, the Florida second baseman, a strikeout victim her first time up against Marin, one of 4 strikeouts recorded by Marin so far today. So a bit of a rough 4th inning, but I mean, if you're Marin, you got to look at this, and I'm sure she realizes this, but for my own benefit, I'm only 1 hit.
Right.
So, I mean, outside of those 3 consecutive at-bats,
Right.
she's dominated the Florida lineup so far today.
She has looked really good in this circle. A lot of working ahead, being efficient with her pitches outside of those 3 hitters and coming right back and responding.
Just missed outside. Not a bad idea, though, with an 0-2 count.
This is the 9-hole hitter for Florida, so this will be a big out if you're going to turn this lineup over and have Kendra Falby come up with 2 outs. It's a much wanted scenario, I believe, for the Bulldogs.
Yes, if anybody reaches, then you're going to have Wallace step up with runners on, as Florida is trying to tack on to their 3-2 lead in the top of the 5th.
And that's the Skylar Wallace effect. This is the 9-hole hitter, and we're talking about looking 2 hitters ahead of her, thinking about where Wallace is.
Swing and a miss right there. Second strikeout today against William, and the 5th on the afternoon for Marin.
Marin right back to that drop ball on the outer half of the plate. What we saw a lot in the first 3 innings from Josie Marin, right back at it.
And here comes Kendra Falby trying to bunt her way on, and she has the speed to do that. She's not just trying to catch State off guard, although that's a little bit of the philosophy, but she's trying to bunt her way on. She has done that time and time again throughout the season.
Yeah, I think even if you told a defense that she was going to bunt, she has a good chance of beating it out with her speed. Really a 5-tool player in the box.
And again, just trying to do a little swinging bunt right there, and she fell behind 0-2 her first couple of times up, and here she is again down the count 0-2 against Marin. Looking to get on base for the first time in the afternoon. There's a 0-2 wasted in the dirt. Counts 1-2 on the .432 hitting Kendra Falby. The junior center fielder with the reigning SEC Player of the Year, Wallace, in the on-deck circle. That ball is blistered right to Barbary. A loud out. And Marin and News Park, a sun-filled News Park on this Good Friday. First batter up is Nadia Barbary, and she bounces one over to Walsh, who throws a bit high, but Gales hauls it in for out number 1 at first base.
Next to the plate is number 18, Madison Kennedy.
Alongside Brittany McKinney, I'm Anthony Craven. Great to have you with us for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Florida trying to force tomorrow's game to be a rubber game after dropping a 13-12 slugfest to the Bulldogs in Game 1 of the series last night. As Madison Kennedy steps up, she is 0 for 1 today. but drew a walk and scored a run her first time up in the first. And give Ava Brown a ton of credit. She was roughed up in the first inning and has done a great job ever since then.
Yeah, even roughed up last night in that game, then came up, gave up 2 runs in the bottom of the first, but has been lights out ever since then. It's just showing the maturity of a young pitcher in the circle. It's the SEC. People are gonna hit. You're gonna have to show how you respond and stay focused, stay with your game plan. And she's done that. And Mississippi State, we know they can swing it, but they're having some troubles right now.
Kennedy takes that one off the inside corner, and the count evens up 2-2. The Bulldogs have 4 hits today, but only 1 hit with runners on base. Oh, got the inside corner that time. Looked like the same pitch, but just caught the inside corner, and she gets the strikeout of Kennedy.
Yeah, she just moved this pitch over an inch to grab that inside corner. You see how far that breaks across the plate. Wonderful pitch by Ava Brown in the circle to get the big bat of Madison Kennedy. Huge second out for Brown.
So Kennedy is 0 for 2 today. So is Cook. And that ball's in there for a strike, and Brown is doing a good job getting ahead of the Bulldog hitters here in the middle part of the ball game. Pop up, shallow in right. Calling for it is Kistler. She makes the grab, and that was a really quick 1-2 hit. But that 1 hit is the difference in the game, as Jocelyn Erickson got a 3-run home run in the 4th to stake Florida to its current 3-2 lead.
This is how that inning began, with Skylar Wallace leading off the plate, working a walk, getting things going.
Makes contact there and fouls one back as she was out in front of that offering from Marin. And the count is 0-2 on Wallace. So for the first time, we've seen Wallace get behind on the count.
Having an opportunity to swing the bat has not been something she's seen a lot in these 2 games.
Boy, Marin really challenged her there and just missed down and in.
I'm sure Skylar Wallace is a little shocked at that pitch location too. One of the greatest hitters in the country, and you're gonna come in on the plate. Not a waste pitch at all. She is challenging in the circle.
The 1-2. Ground ball foul. Wallace just got a piece of that one. So for the first time today, we see Marin throwing strikes to Wallace. Hit by a pitch in the first, drew a walk in the 4th, and in that 4th inning scored on Erickson's 3-run home run to right field. The 1-2. Grounder again. So Marin so far, yes, challenging her, but not giving her anything over the plate that she can drive.
She's putting, if you're gonna go inside on Skylar Wallace, it better be on that inside corner, if not off the plate. And she is locating that pitch very well. So way ahead in this count.
Breaking ball stayed high. Count evens up 2-2.
The defensive players behind Marin after that no call, they're like, come on, that's one of the best hitters. That is so close. They want it for their pitcher, but we're going to do it again.
That ball out to Edwards. Throw to first in time. Nicely done by Marin and the Bulldog infield defense. That's been really good today.
They have. They haven't talked yet. We haven't talked about them enough because Marin's been doing so good in the circle, but they have had their pitchers back. Sometimes as a defense, playing behind a drop ball pitcher is so much fun. You know you're going to get action that game, so you're locked in every single pitch, and the defense is really stepping up today.
Showing bunt, and then bringing back the bat is Otis. Took that ball for strike 1. No one on, 1 gone. The Bulldogs got the rare putout of Wallace. But you can't relax with Otis and Erickson coming up. Otis today is 0 for 1, but drew a walk, just like Wallace back in that 4th inning. Drew a walk and scored on Erickson's 3-run home run. So deja vu all over again, but so far a little bit better story or outcome if you're Mississippi State.
Right. Marin really attacking hitters.
Downstairs with that one, the count goes to 2-2. Otis, 35 hits with 28 RBIs this year. Hard hit ball going to sneak through into left field. Just the 2nd hit today for Florida. The first hit, that's not a home run. And that was a well-struck ball right past the diving Barbary. So exact same thing happens to almost the exact same spot. It's off the right pole in dead right center field. The 2nd home run today for Erickson, and the Florida Gators increase their lead to 5-2.
And again, Jocelyn Erickson going after the first pitch she sees from Marin. You said deja vu a couple minutes ago. This home run.
Now it really is.
Yeah, almost the exact same location. First pitch. Again, this pitch gets way too much of the plate and drives it and scores Corby Otis again, extending that lead. And as well as Ava Brown is pitching for Florida, you know, that's a 3-run advantage is looking pretty good for the Gators.
Reagan Walsh now steps in. Hits one right off of Marin, right off her hand. That will leak out into left field. Stopping though at first is Walsh, and now you have to just hope that Marin's okay as she shakes off that right hand.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
Sophomore right-hander who was the starting pitcher, who just had to leave because she took a line drive off the bat of Walsh onto her right hand, her pitching hand, and was tended to in the circle for a couple of minutes and then was taken out of the ball game.
And aside from those 2 home runs by Jocelyn Erickson, Josie was having a great job, doing a great job in the circle this game. You hate to see a pitcher leave due to injury.
And she is in the dugout right now, and you see a few smiles on the faces there, so hopefully that's a good sign that she will be okay. That certainly is your hope. Meanwhile, on the field, Florida has scored all 5 of their runs on 2 Jocelyn Erickson homers. And they have a runner on at first with just 1 out, and a 1-2 count on Katie Kistler. Limited sample size, as you mentioned, Brittany, but Everett has been good against lefties this year, and Florida does have more than their fair share of lefties in the batting order today.
Yeah, I think it's a good matchup for Delaney Everett in the circle, throwing to her arm side.
That ball fouled back by Kistler. Kistler today 0 for 2, but a .391 hitter on the year. And a veteran left-handed bat for Tim Walton and the Florida Gators, who I'm sure are thinking 3 runs is not enough.
No, they were here last night too.
They want to score as many runs as possible here in the 6th inning. They scored 5 runs in the top of the 6th last night, and it didn't matter.
Right. And Josie Marin, before she was taken out, was working through her 3rd time through the lineup. And, you know, that's a tall task for any pitcher. Delaney Everett faced 14 hitters last night, so they've got a good taste of her.
Hard hit ball, going to drop in for a base hit and get past St. Clair. Rounding second is Walsh. She'll come around third. She's going to score an RBI for Kistler and Florida. Similar to last night where they had a big top of the sixth, they've now scored 3 in the sixth.
It's going to be a big pitch to keep them off balance because right now they look like they're on time.
The UCLA transfer fires her first pitch in there against Cassidy McClellan, a pinch hitter for Florida. So Florida goes into the dugout and brings out another lefty, as McClellan will bat in the number 7 spot, replacing Goddard. And Sosa has missed with the first 2 pitches, and the count's 2-0 with Kistler on at second base. Still just 1 out. 3 runs have already scored this inning. There's a big swing and a miss there. 2 balls and a strike on McClellan, who has 26 at-bats on the year, 9 hits. That's good for a .346 average. Comebacker gets past Sosa. Throw to first will not be in time. Everyone is safe, and right now the ball bouncing Florida's way.
The defense for Mississippi State has been so good this game. 2 mishaps on defense with the ball in left field, and now comebacker to Lexi Sosa off the heel of her glove.
0, Ava Brown.
Just could not get the glove down all the way fast enough, and wasn't much Hawkins could do there on the throw to first. So we got runners at the corners now for the Gators, and the count is going to be 1-0 on Avery Gales. Or is that, no, that's Brown back in there. Sure is. Yeah, Brown is back up at the plate. Off speed and foul ball for a strike.
You know, if I'm head coach Tim Walton, I'm going to be very proud of my team and how they've responded today. Yesterday was a gut punch to them. Going into the 6th inning with a 5-run lead and then allow Mississippi State to come back and put up 7 runs and lose the game by 1 run, that you were kind of in control of all game, and then come back out here and really take control of the ball game.
Yeah, nice way to bounce back. What, I guess State has scored 8 unanswered going back to the game last night. And I thought for Brown to come out in the home half of the second and sort of gain control of the strike zone, settle things down, that ball not cut off, and the run's going to score. Getting in a run down is McClellan. She's out at first base, but Kistler scores from third. And boy, a hard slide back into first, and McClellan is in pain. You hate to see this, but she took a hard tumble diving back to the bag.
And
the call on the field will be upheld.
Yeah. So, and that's one of those things where, again, the call on the field
right.
is she's out, which means the evidence has to be clear that the call was wrong, and there was no evidence there that she was safe.
Yeah.
So a
move
short
on.
review, yeah.
You can't take the reviews with you tomorrow, so.
Why not?
But I do want to go back to that play.
Yes, please do.
It was 1st and 3rd, get the out at first base and a rundown, but just sacrificed a run. I just, you know, in a game where runs mean so much, 1 run can be the difference of your comeback. Here, you've got to protect home plate more than you do second base.
Hard hit ball to left. This ball's gone. 3 home runs for Florida, all in the 4th inning or later. This one off the bat of Brown, who helps her own cause. And it's all Florida here in the home, or in the visitor half of the 6th inning.
Ava Brown, the freshman, doing her thing in the circle. Two-way player, gets a chance to hit. pulls her hands inside on this screwball, gets the all barrel, drives it right over the left center fence, and she is fired up, helping herself, helping her team. The emotion of the freshman coming across home plate and just stomping it in. Florida extending the lead.
8-2 now is the score. As Sosa has to calm things down here as best she can. There are 2 outs, and bases are empty, and Williams is at the plate. This Florida offense, we talked about it, how good they are 1 through 9, and we've seen 3 long balls be the difference in this one as Williams fouls that one back. 2 from Erickson, 1 from Brown, and if Florida can hold on, which they couldn't last night, with a 6-run lead in the 6th inning, if they can hold on today, you got to tip your cap to Ava Brown and name her the player of the game.
Oh, without a doubt. The way she's responded and in the circle and now at the plate. Like Mia Williams trying to lean into that one a little bit, sticking the elbow out. You know, sometimes as a 9-hole hitter,
you can't blame her.
Yeah, you got to find a way on base. But Aaron Golden behind the umpire behind the plate sees what she's doing with the strike call.
The 1-2 stayed upstairs. So now the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Williams, who's 0 for 2 at the plate today. A couple of strikeouts, both swinging. 1 in the 3rd and 1 in the 5th. Facing Sosa for the first time today. Hard hit ball. Should be caught though in left. St. Clair calls for it and she hauls it in. So the inning is over, but not before the Florida Gators. Bottom of the 6th. Bulldogs down by 6. Jessie Blaine leading off the inning, and we just realized she also led off that 7-run 6th inning last night for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that package we just showed, the fight and the swings that the Bulldogs put together in the 6th inning. They loved the 6th inning yesterday. They're going to try and do the same thing here with Jessie Blaine starting them off. She started off last night in the 6th with a double.
Got it out in front of that one, hit it a country mile, but it's out of play. Foul to our left for a strike, and she's behind on the count 1-2.
And you can hear the Mississippi State dugout. They're still in it, still loud.
Blaine hits that one at the last moment. Ricochets, and that's right off our camera operator down there along the first base line.
We get a thumbs
Yes,
up.
there you go.
I love it.
He's trying to start a rally.
Nice work out there.
And protecting the camera at all costs. We always appreciate that. Blaine flares one out into right, coming over and making a heck of a catch. Diving effort is Kistler for out number 1.
Kistler has covered some ground in right field today. Again, this ball tailing into foul territory. Makes a great grab, holds on to it through the ground. She's fired up. She knows how big that first out of the inning is. It's defense for Florida. Really playing well behind Ava Brown.
Yeah, the outfield especially has made some really difficult catches today. Wesolowski's up. She'll take a swing at the very first pitch, and she'll pop it out to William at second base, and there are 2 gone quickly here in the home half of the 6th. So Brown not allowing a rally to manifest itself yet, and she'll now face Edwards, the freshman shortstop. Ball 1 upstairs. Edwards today 1 for 2. Had that big double to lead off the 4th inning. State, though, couldn't score, and that seemed to be the turning point of the ball game.
Yeah, you have that momentum when you lead off an inning with a double, like, hey, this is going to be a big rally inning. And when you leave that out to dry, it's kind of, it hurts your spirit a little bit, and they really haven't had a ball barreled up on offense since.
That's downstairs, below the knees, taken for a ball, and the count is 2-1 on Edwards. The freshman batting .272 on the year. That's a ball in the dirt, ball 3. The Bulldogs have Hawkins in the on-deck circle. Florida trying to close the door right here. That ball caught the bottom half of the zone. Now the count's full on Edwards. Six hits for Florida, 3 of them home runs. Hard hit ball down to the knees goes Wallace. She throws the first in time. Nicely done, 6-3. And Edward All-American Wallace. Last year's SEC Player of the Year and the NFCA National Player of the Year. Strike 1 from Sosa. Sosa, the 3rd different Bulldog pitcher used in the game. Marin got the start, had to come out because of an injury when she took a line drive off the right hand. There's going to be a chopper that's gloved right off the dirt by Edwards and thrown to first in time. And boy, the freshman Kylie Edwards has been really good defensively today for State.
Yeah, she's making very mature, solid plays up the middle, and she saw that she fielded that ball close to second base. She was shifted up the middle for Wallace, played it perfectly.
No one on and 2 gone for Otis, who hits one right back to the circle. Throw to first. Nicely done. 1-2-3. Gators are retired. Florida, though, 3 outs away from earning a victory here on the road. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Last chance for number 17, Mississippi State, as the Dogs in the dugout trying to get the near capacity crowd into it here, as they need a huge rally like last night's huge late inning rally, as they trail Florida by 6, as Ava Brown is back in the circle for Florida. And she has gone the distance, done a really good job in the circle today for the Gators.
Yeah, she's been lights out. This is her game. She's gonna try and get these last 3 outs. But last night we saw with Mississippi State, that dugout mom was creating excitement when there was nothing to be excited about, and then it translated to the hits. This at bat by Salem Hawkins, though, the leadoff batter of the 7th inning when you're down, is so important as a pitcher to get out, and it's so important for the offense to get on.
Hawkins 0 for 2 so far today. Slow roller off the leg. Boy, she fouled that, I think, right off the shin or the foot. That's going to sting.
Yeah, that hurts. That is not fun.
We'll see on the replay here.
Right off the top of the foot. You know, I bet Ava Brown, as a pitcher, sees that a lot with that movement she has into the hands of the righties. I bet she gets a lot of hitters to foul balls off their foot and shin, but Hawkins looks okay. That one doesn't feel good. Maybe we'll see her next time have that Evo shield on the foot and the shin.
The crowd trying to encourage her as she fouls back that pitch into the stands, and that'll be strike 2, and the count evens up. Hawkins, and then I think the Bulldogs will use a pinch hitter in place of St. Clair in the on-deck circle. Then we'll see the top of the order, Sacco, step up. That ball is also fouled straight back and off the roof of the press box. So Hawkins staying alive, as Matalasi Fa'apito, I think, is standing in the on-deck circle for the Bulldogs. Hawkins hits one into left field. A leadoff single Don't know what will follow, but a quality leadoff at bat for the freshman.
If you're going to get a rally started, you've got to do it with your first batter. And Salem Hawkins right here just goes after the pitch. She wasn't going to go down looking. She was in swing mode, doing anything she can to get a barrel on it, and just finds enough space in left field. And I tell you what, this crowd, that might have been the loudest single I've heard all day long, or even in a long time. They are in it. They are trying to will their Bulldogs to make a run, but Ava Brown has just been so good in the circle. It's going to be a tall task.
Brown's stat line now is 6 innings plus, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. She has walked 3 and struck out 3. Has given up 3 singles and a couple of doubles. Is now facing her 27th hitter, but has only thrown 91 pitches as Fa'apito steps in and takes a strike, and the count evens up 1-1. Matalasi Fa'apito has only had 8 at-bats on the year, has been used primarily as a relief pitcher, but does have a strong right-handed swing. Is 2 for 8 on the year, the 1-2. She spoils that one. We'll stay alive and we'll do it again.
You know, the one thing we were talking about in break, that Mississippi State knows that they're going to get hammered in on the hands, especially as a righty. They just haven't been able to make that adjustment to get that barrel out. But credit to Ava Brown, she's adjusting right along with them.
Outside, and the count goes to 2-2.
And you corrected me. It's a lot harder to do than just sit up here and talk about making an adjustment on the inner half against Brown. So I appreciate you keeping me in line.
Well, as Fa'apito has worked the count full now, I was saying it for my own benefit mainly. It's, I mean, certainly for me, easier said than done. You played at a high level, so.
Oh, no, I just sit up here and watch, but no, you're exactly right. That's how good Brown is. You know it's coming inside, and they're still getting jammed.
3-2 the count. Here comes the payoff pitch. Downstairs, ball 4. The first 2 have reached. And now we're going to see, I think, a timeout called by Florida. Yeah, pitching coach came up on the top step of the dugout there, and now time is called. The Bulldogs putting a little.
If you're Coach Ricketts, this is exactly what you wanted to see your team do. Come out in the bottom half of the 7th inning, get first 2 runners on, and turn it over to the top of your lineup.
That ball misses outside. Sacco has been on base once today, drew a walk in the 2nd. Otherwise 0 for 2. A ground out in the 1st and the 4th. Snap throw to 2nd, diving back to the bag just in time is Hawkins.
What an arm behind the plate.
For real.
I mean, nobody's trying to steal on Erickson behind the plate. I think she just wanted to show the crowd, hey, look at this cannon. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Lefty catcher behind the plate.
Check swing, ball was low and outside. And it wasn't just the speed, it was the location too. That was on a rope.
Perfect. No sleeping with Erickson behind the plate.
3-0 the count. Sacco taking all the way, and Brown having a hard time finding the strike zone here in the 7th inning. Bases are loaded for Mississippi State. And if you want to know the anatomy of a comeback, it begins like this.
You can't really script it much better if you're Mississippi State. And the pressure is, if you're sitting in the stands right now, you feel like the pressure's on Florida, but because of how loud and exciting things are right now. But the pressure's really on Mississippi State. They're down by 6 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning, and that's what Brown needs to remind herself. The pressure is on the offense, not her right now. She just needs to continue what she has been doing all game.
There's a ball off the glove of Wallace into left. That will score a run. The Bulldogs all move up, station to station. Barbary gets another big-time hit. Hawkins scores. Sales goes to 3rd. Sacco to 2nd. Barbary now on at 1st. Bases still juiced. It's a 5-run Florida lead.
And I think Skylar Wallace is going to want that pitch back. I think off the bat, it looked like it was coming a lot harder than it was. It was one of those change-up knucklers coming, and she just didn't time her extension or jump right, and tips off the top of her glove. Mississippi State, the plate has a big opportunity to make a difference here.
Rothrock goes down and in and misses ball one to Kennedy. And we're not quite sure how long Rothrock has been warming up.
Right. I mean, going into the 7th inning with a 6-run lead, your ace probably isn't thinking to be ready to go with no outs and the bases loaded.
The 1-1 to Kennedy comes in, almost hits her, ball two.
And Rothrock, again, a freshman, just like Ava Brown. Rothrock's a freshman coming in, bases loaded, no outs. The fans are loud, the dugout's loud for Mississippi State. This moment can feel a lot bigger.
Ooh, big time pitch right there and a cut. Just not quite fast enough from Kennedy. Count is even, 2-2. Bases are loaded, 1 run is already in, no outs recorded yet. Florida, though, still on top by 5 as that ball is taken upstairs. Now the count's full. Nowhere to put Kennedy.
Oh.
But you can't throw her a strike right down the middle, can you?
No, you can't. I mean, the way she swings the bat, you still have to be careful, but you got to be competitive.
And it misses down and in. And Kennedy, that's a veteran at bat right there, not trying to do too much.
In this kind of movement, Paige Cook last night showing us that she wants the bat in the big moment. She's going to get another opportunity here.
Strike one thrown by Rothrock. Big moment right there to get out in front of Cook early. Oh, swing and a miss, strike two.
And that's what Rothrock can do. If you are overzealous in the box, just climb the ladder, get you to swing at pitches out of the zone. Responding well to that walk and gets ahead 0-2 to Paige Cook.
Bases are loaded, no one is out. Cook fought off that one, a rise ball up and away.
If I'm Rothrock, I'm going even higher. I mean, they're in swing mode, trying to protect 0-2. Elevate out of the zone. Take it 1 ball higher. See if you can get her to chase your pitch.
Cook, a veteran on this team, has had some big at-bats in her career. Pops it up on the infield, calling for it and making the catch is Wallace. That's a big first out for Rothrock and the Florida Gators.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a big deep breath in the circle. Coming in with bases loaded, no outs to record your first out. The nice easy fly ball to your shortstop. She's got to feel good at that, going after that at bat too. Got ahead, stayed ahead.
Tough game offensively for Cook. She's 0 for 4 as Blaine steps in, hits the first pitch, and fouls it back off into the first base dugout for a strike. Blaine today has had 2 good at-bats, drew a walk in the first, had a base knock in the third. Flied out into foul territory, though, last time up in the 6th. Tying run at the plate, less than 2 outs. Blaine fouls it off again, just could not get the timing right. And she falls into the hole 0-2.
And that's a great pitch. That's a rise ball in on the hands, but it's not just moving vertically. It's got tail into the hands of the righty hitter. So hard to get your barrel out, be on time, and try and get on top of it.
Sacco at third, Wallace at second, Kennedy at first. That ball misses, and the count's 1-2. Good idea, though, to locate that ball way off the plate. Blaine just did not take the bait.
Yeah, it's a good setup pitch. Your best pitch is only as good as you can set it up.
The 1-2, line drive foul. Blaine just a little bit out in front, and the count remains 1-2. Just about took out Sacco over at third base. Blaine hits one the other way, foul. Nice battle going on right here.
Yeah, it's Blaine, the junior, really fighting off every pitch that Rothrock's throwing at her. Rothrock well ahead, gets something way out of the zone that she can't touch here.
Slow roller. Throw to first base will be off target though. And the Bulldogs will score a couple of runs, and Blaine is down at first base. Out at third is Wallace, but Sacco scored. Like a heavyweight fight. So here we go. 2 gone, 2 on. Tying run is Wesolowski at the plate as she pulls back the first pitch foul left side for strike 1. Florida an out away from getting out of the inning and winning the game. The Bulldogs looking for a quality 2-out at-bats from the freshman DP, Wesolowski, who takes the ball down and in, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. No hits allowed by Rothrock since coming on in relief earlier this inning. There's a foul ball that will land right in front of us. Nice catch there in the stands. So now Florida 1 strike away from getting a win.
And Rothrock, since she's come into this game, has worked ahead, has been in pitchers' counts, trying to close it out here.
Wesolowski out in front, but spoils that pitch, and she'll stay alive. Count remains 1-2. Kennedy at third. Blaine stayed in the ball game after the collision at first base and now runs at first base. Wesolowski at the plate. Hard hit ball, foul territory. Is it playable? Well, it was playable, but running out of real estate there was Otis in left, so we'll do it again.
Yeah, Otis was shaded towards that left center gap, with Rothrock in the circle, and the velocity she throws her pitches with, not hugging the line there, expecting something in the gap. Not able to come up with the foul ball. We'll do it again.
Wesolowski has 3 home runs on the year. Hits one into right field. Nice diving catch to win the ball game from Kistler. We've seen her make, by my count, 3 really good catches in right field today. That one was the best one.